This now is essentially 3 months after the first classified documents were found at the Penn Biden Center. We know that the FBI has searched there. We know that the FBI has searched now in the Wilmington, Delaware home, primary residence of Joe Biden. They are now at the Rehoboth Beach house searching. Here is a news update on that search, which is, as we said, currently going on. This is NBC's Kristen Welker discussing the consensual search.
We are told, and this is an important point, that there is no search warrant, that the White House counsel's office is investigating, and that this was planned. But such an important point, and I just want to underscore that. According to a source familiar with the matter, the White House counsel is cooperating fully with this search. There was no search warrant that was issued. This was pre-planned, so this was not a surprise search. This is something that they've been doing in coordination with the White House counsel's office.
Can I just
right, so
what she's saying, just real quick. Remember Frank the Tank in Old School when he starts swinging the chair around, as we've said? She's basically screaming at everybody, it's a planned search. You gotta keep your composure. You gotta keep your composure. I don't think people are feeling so good in the Democrat Party right now.
Look, we said on this program, as soon as this story broke, that there had to be a search of Joe Biden's beach house and there had to be a search of Joe Biden's primary residence. It took months for this actually to occur. And I saw Miranda Devine, a friend of ours, who posted on Twitter, but it kind of tied into a lot of what we have discussed. I will be stunned if they find any classified documents at Joe Biden's beach house, because they have now had 3 months on top of the screw-up at the Wilmington residence, where they also found classified documents. Surely they have done away with whatever classified documents might be in the beach house. Joe Biden has traveled there multiple times since the initial discovery of the documents took place in the Penn Biden Center. I would be flabbergasted even if there were classified documents there, Buck, if they're still recoverable.
So I think that part of this is that they're trying to move the special counsel into Biden as quickly as they can. And so that's why they're reporting on how, oh, it's a planned search. And you can tell the reporters, like, yeah,
it's not a Mar-a-Lago raid here. We're not free. There's a little bit of nervousness. But I think that their plan is to get this done before the re-election season really is underway in a meaningful way. And so they hope by talking about how they're planning the searches and they're making sure there's nothing left there, they can essentially put this aside. I increasingly view this, and look, it's really tough to see this, Clay, right? I mean, it's tough to see this in advance. I think that there is a lot of the anxiety of this isn't even so much, oh my gosh, the sitting president is a moron, which they knew all along when they voted for this guy. That's actually not new.
Right.
But it's the recognition that it does have to be Biden, and he is making this a lot harder, and he's not going to be able to run from the basement. He's not going to be able to have COVID to sort of, remember the whole thing about Trump was, oh, he mishandled COVID, and people were miserable, and they voted, some of them, and let's not get into how many, talk about that another day, for change from the miserable, right? As you've said a million times, does Donald Trump, if the election's held in 2019, does Donald Trump lose? No, he does not lose.
Even if they're trying to do everything they can to beat him and rig the game in every way they could, Trump would have won comfortably in 2019.
And so I think right now, with the document situation, what they see playing out is, we have no choice but this guy and this guy. Because remember, people thought, oh, they're trying to push him aside.
He's a bridge.
And maybe there were a few people involved in this process who did see that. I'm not saying that theory was entirely off, or that, look, I thought for a second there maybe it was true. But now, given the way this process is playing out, the fact, Clay, at some level, that they have put this special counsel on, I think, means they're trying to cross the T's, dot the I's, and get past this before the election. And I think they're also having some Hillary email trauma come up in their minds, because they thought they were going to be able to put that one to bed, and they weren't. And this one, it's not clear. To your point, if they find stuff in Rehoboth at this stage, you've got to think that Joe Biden was papering his walls with classified and just didn't care. I mean, it was totally reckless.
Yeah, and remember, he's speaking for the State of the Union on Tuesday. So 6 days from now, February 7th, I believe. And before all this classified document scandal blew up, you do the State of the Union, maybe you wait a couple of weeks, and then sometime late February, early March, the official rollout of Joe Biden's running for president again in 2024 happens. Has the classified document scandal created a challenge to that schedule in some way? I would say probably yes. By the way, we should mention Nikki Haley is scheduled to announce, according to reports, on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, just a couple of weeks from now, that she will be officially contending in the 2024 Republican primary, joining, and I didn't even know he was in there, John Bolton, who evidently announced at some point, and Donald Trump, with the expectation of Pompeo stepping into the fray. And that ties me into this, Buck. I saw this quote come out of Donald Trump, and I'm curious how you would analyze this, but Trump on Truth Social is stepping up his battle with Ron DeSantis. We played you the audio yesterday where DeSantis, I think, took a pretty, kind of under the radar shot at Trump by saying the people render a judgment on re-election. In my case, meaning DeSantis saying, in my case, I won by 19 points. Not win in 2020. And Trump has just posted on Truth. The real Ron is a all-caps rhino globalist who closed quickly down Florida and even its beaches, loved the vaccines, and wasted big money on testing. How quickly people forget.
Okay, so this is going to be an issue. We're going to always look to what we know, right? I mean, if Trump says, Ron doesn't have the persona, the skills, the expertise to run the country, people can argue that one way or the other. But when Trump says that Ron is guilty of shutting down super early and not doing a good job on COVID and loving the vaccines, he is going directly into the strength of Ron DeSantis.
I think
the strongest single area. I was fleeing to Florida in the summer of 2020 personally because of what Ron DeSantis did in the state. Okay, so we can't get into this "who do you believe, me or your lying eyes" situation with Trump on this stuff. It's not going to go well. There are other areas where he can make he can say, Trump's saying, I'm the only one who can win. I'm the only one who can govern. I'm the only one who can. Those are all areas where I think he's got the upper hand. He does.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis was bad on COVID and liked the vaccines, but Trump said that the vaccine saved 100 million lives a week ago.
Yeah.
So he's got to pick his lane here because we are paying attention.
I think it's the worst single avenue of attack Donald Trump could have on Ron DeSantis.
I mean, this is like saying Glenn Youngkin is too short. Glenn Youngkin is like 6'9", okay? Yeah. He's not too short. Say what you want about it.
Yeah, it is. And to me, what it does is reinforce, frankly, Trump's failures on COVID. Because you can criticize Ron DeSantis for a lot, right? That's what politics is. You get criticized on a variety of different fronts. If you told the DeSantis people, where do you want Trump to fight the battle of the 2024 presidential nominating fight? On whether DeSantis treated COVID seriously and locked down too aggressively, that's the blame.
Why have 150,000 people moved to Florida in the last 2.5 years? We all know what Florida did during COVID. This is the single weakest, and it's, dude, you and I, we voted for Trump. We like Trump.
Yeah.
I like Donald Trump as a person. You like Donald Trump. He did a great job in office as president. That are going to make sense and going to resonate. I don't know who's advising him. The way he's going after DeSantis is not serving him well. Honestly.
Look, DeSantis insisted that every single school in Florida be open and that no one be required to wear masks. in July and August of 2020, Buck. That is it. I mean, kids in Philadelphia and still wearing masks to this day. This is the single worst attack. And I also think it elevates DeSantis because right now in the lead in many states, certainly in national polling. But I think when Trump is attacking a guy who hasn't even announced for the office yet, one, it looks like he's afraid of him, in my opinion. Now, I don't think Trump's afraid of anybody, but I think that's how it comes off. And two, I think in the worst possible space.
Yeah, look, you and I both know this from just being a public person who gets attacked. There are the people who attack you who are public people themselves, and you ignore because it's just not, when Keith Olbermann, attacks you,
MSNBC All-Star,
he's sad. I feel badly. He's a sad. No one cares. There's nothing. So it's not worth getting into with him. But occasionally somebody will throw a jab or a right cross at you, and it's go time, right? You're kind of saying, Trump is kind of saying that he thinks that Ron is the guy that he has to throw shots at first, which is indicative of a concern over the dynamic right now and the momentum. And I just think that to attack Ron on COVID is very. I mean, look, does anyone? I don't know what.
We'll open up phone lines. I mean,
does anyone think that that's actually a valid? Because Trump was angry at Georgia for opening too early.
Yes.
I spoke to the president in the Oval in May of 2020 about COVID, and I was begging him, sir, you got to stop with these. He let Fauci take over. I hate to say it. Fauci and Birx were calling the shots. And early on, you could say that's not his fault because, they were the experts, etc. By May, June 2020, it had to be, he should have ousted them. They should have been sidelined. If this is going to be a fight over who handled COVID better, it's got to be a fight over who handled the trade, the economy, the border. Those are areas where Trump can do some victory laps. COVID, not so much.
800-282-2882. Maybe some of you disagree and think that DeSantis is vulnerable there, but it's hard to judge anybody on March of 2020 because it was such a total and complete cluster, and there was some time there where DeSantis shut down beaches and that was happening everywhere in the nation. But by April and May, DeSantis was leading one of the freest states in the country, and that is just, I think, the single worst.
There were people before DeSantis' reelection. There were governors in far more red states, meaning just, they totally Republican top to bottom, who refused to protect people from vaccine mandates in the private sector.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis said, nah, not in my state. You're not doing that. Forcing shots people don't need into their arms on pain of firing them from their job. Their anti-discrimination law. Some governors wanted to take big money from big pharma. Some governors had other things in mind. Ron was good on this one.
Yeah, and Buck, I'll just say from my personal experience, I moved my whole family to Florida in May of 2020 and lived down there for that month. Kids were out of school. We spent a lot of time in Florida, and DeSantis was really good in May of 2020. All the restaurants were opening up. By May of 2020, Florida was basically 100% hotels were open, basically 100% back to normal. How many places in America can you say that to attack him?
If you're going to criticize Tom Brady, probably best not to say he doesn't know how to throw a football, right?
Or he didn't win enough Super Bowls. He lost 3 Super Bowls because he lost too many Super Bowls.
800-282-2882. If we're missing something, folks, on this, we always want to hear this. Could be ongoing conversation. I just want to point this out, too. You know what matters the most? Running this country. How much more damage do you think Joe Biden can do with 4 more years? I really think about that one for a second. We got to get this one right. This next election is critical, and you can already feel these dynamics and this battle playing out right now. If your cell phone service is with AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, guess it's too much. Switch to Pure Talk. That's my cell phone company of choice, and save more than $50 or $60 a month for the same quality of service. That's because Pure Talk uses the same towers and network as the big companies. It's great nationwide, $5 price.
what makes switching to Pure Talk even better is the company itself. It's veteran-owned, U.S.-based customer service team. Just to give you a sense of them, they don't put up with anything woke, so you don't see them advertising on all the fake news networks.
Every day we're thrown some new meaningless drama in the fake news to distract us from the reality we're all about to face. Between the government trying to print their way out of debt, military conflicts, the disintegration of our most trusted institutions, and a looming food shortage, preparedness is no longer a choice. It's a necessity. Patriot Supply. Our emergency food kits come packed with tasty meals averaging over 2,000 calories per day. And at least one kit for each person in your family. It's the only alternative to government food lines. Time is running out. Become ungovernable. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and save on dozens of different emergency food kits while you can. These kits are in stock, ship fast, and arrive in unmarked boxes for your privacy. Go to mypatriotsupply.com before the next crisis strikes. mypatriotsupply.com.
Hello, Fremont. I'm Amy Eric, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I in Madison Reed to give you the most gorgeous hair color made with ingredients you can feel good about. You may know Madison Reed for our at-home hair color, but big news, we now have over 80 locations nationwide where we color your hair for you. And now we have a grand opening of our newest hair color bar at Pacific Commons. Salon results with professional stylists take care of you with hair color services from all over color, roots, gloss, highlights, and balayage. Book an appointment for fast and fabulous hair color at our newest hair color bar at Pacific Commons. For a limited time, grand opening special for new clients. Get 20% off your first hair color at a Madison Reed hair color bar. Visit madison-reed.com/Fremont. That's madison-reed.com/Fremont. Try it. Love it.
Tim, we need to talk. I just can't get over that rate increase from Verizon and AT&T last year.
We'll switch to T-Mobile and get their price lock guarantee. They won't raise our rates for talk, text, and data ever.
We're switching today.
You get 4 lines for $25 a line with our price lock guarantee. We won't raise the price of your rate plan for talk, text. 4 lines for $25 per line with auto-pay plus taxes and fees. $5 more per month without auto-pay. Price lock for qualifying services excludes taxes, fees, select programs, and third-party services. See T-Mobile.com for details.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. Cal can help. Access CalHelp's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhelp.org. When your baby starts to move, you need a diaper that can keep up. Pampers Cruisers 360, the only no tapes and a 360 stretchy waistband for up to 100% leak-free fit. No tapes or tabs means they're easy to put on and babies have all the stretchy freedom they need to bust their wild moves. Pampers Cruisers 360. Live wild and free. Tap the banner to learn more.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 with heart disease Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat. Ask your doctor.